Of Ethereum, contemplating analyzing whether or not this is up for a short. So the daily time frame, you can see a potential breakdown of the MACD, a bearish crossover. We If this day finishes like this, it's not going to look good for the bulls, and the bears will have a shot at a move down here. On the RSI, we're seeing again, if this day closes below this 1, 2, triple support line on the RSI, that's another small sign that this could be going for another move down. And here on the daily, you can see, so I added this line later. I think this is just a sort of a negative scenario in the sense that what can happen if I'm wrong. So what we're seeing here is this explosive move up, a very strong correction here, consolidation all the way within this flag structure. And staying on the daily, we can see that we have support, 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 which is now broken. And this is what's making me want to short this now, breaking the support. We can see the resistance over here. This is actually a sort of amalgamation of resistances. I like to draw it somewhere in the middle when you have it not very clear. And I don't treat that as a strict line, it's just sort of a guideline. But as for the support, I think you can see quite clearly the 1, 2, 3 touches there, now breaking here. And you can see that we had many wicks going below the 21 moving average here, and now for the first day, if this day closes, again, this is a bit too early on the daily time frame, but to determine whether or not this triangular structure has broken. But so honestly, the reason why I'm shorting really is based on the 4-hour time frame. And the 4-hour time frame, you can see more clearly that we had this support 1, 2, 3 times support. And then of course what I found notable was this zone of support, which was between here and here. And we have also now just broken through that. So what's interesting is that, yes, we have a breakthrough of it, but we have these 2 lower wicks, sort of longer lower wicks compared to the body of these candles, which is pushing us back up. So it's making me wonder if this is really a good short opportunity, based on the fact that this isn't a proper, certainly is not a proper breakout of this horizontal channel, which was what I was looking for, a breakout of this horizontal, not channel, sorry, but this horizontal support, as well as a breakout of this. And this, I think you can say this will now be resistance on the way back up. But this could very well hold the support and just be like a fake breakout, right? Where, as I said before, this new scenario could develop where we have this support here, and now the new support line goes from there to here, and then we just keep on bouncing in between here until we reach a new apex over here. And what I'm thinking here is that we have this, if we short here, we're risking it's going to go back up. We don't think it's going to break through this, first of all. This is going to act as resistance now, at least for the candle close. And that we're just going to come back down. And of course, if we come back down again, I don't think, and certainly if we come back below this level, below 180, I think we're going to get a pretty quick and explosive move down, at least to 178. Because that's going to be an absolute, no doubt confirmation that this is broken bearish. You can't draw this this consolidation in a way which makes it look like it hasn't broken bearish after we break that. So it's certainly a much higher risk play if I were to short here. And yeah, I'm just not thrilled about this short based on these lower wicks over here, on the fact that this support zone could just sort of enlarge in itself a little bit like this, and that we could, go on to bounce up there. It's not nice because if we break this now, the risk to reward is really not going to be that great, but at least the probability of it breaking down is higher, as opposed to here where we have a better risk to reward, but the probability of it going down, breaking to the downside, is not as high as were we to break this support zone more definitively. So the question now really is, like, how likely do we think this is going to break bearish? And you know, I think it's interesting because in a way you can say it's still very much 50-50. And when you use that logic, then you know, then you can quite easily say, well, okay, well, we have 3.3 to 1 risk to reward. Let's just make this a bit more conservative over here, 3 to 1. And then of course your 50-50 shot is justified, right? Because you have you only need to win 25% of the time. So I think I'm going to pull the trigger here, but I know that it's not a super high probability trade. I think, you know, if we're right 35% of the time, then we're still doing all right. So that's how I'm viewing this right now. And so yeah, if I'm wrong 65 or more, even if I'm wrong 75%, I break even. And if I'm wrong anything less than that, then this will be a profitable trade long term. That's based just on the 4 hour. I guess some other things that you can note, of course, is that we have a resistance here along our wick, like breaking out from there. And of course, it's really too early to determine that this is a resistance from the moving averages because the 4 hour hasn't closed yet, right? There's still another 2 hours left in this candle. So it's really a bit too early to make any definitive statements here. The 1 hour looks really, really, really bearish, right? I mean, we have this resisting from the 55 EMA, resisting again from there, and now we have this long wick where it's like the bulls tried, absolutely failed, and got destroyed and came back down. So, you know, this is a very typical bearish candle from which to short from. And again, the only thing which would stop me from shorting that, and which has also given me some hesitation, is the 15-minute time frame. So, you know, why is there this massive volume here, this massive explosion in volume? And again, it's what you could also justify this by saying that, okay, we have a previous high over here, which acted as resistance, right? And now we've failed miserably to break it, and we have this lower this wick pushing up and just coming right back down. And yeah, the 15. So the way I see it now, and actually what I thought about doing before is, okay, we short this only if we get some confirmation that this 15-minute is breaking bearish, in the sense that we have support, we have previous resistance, and now this is potential support over here. And if this breaks, so like a bit more, like if this level breaks, which is, I'm going to mark that as support, because we have a high over there and we have a touchdown over here. Really the level is up here, but I want a bit more certainty in this trade for us to go bearish, is that, so I'm going to go anything below 183.27. If that breaks bearish, then yeah, I'm just going to enter the short and put my stop limit up there at 186, which is, you know, very clear and important resistance on the way up, because you have this 1, 2, 3, and this is what it's going to look like now. We're going to zoom out. So the trading time frame is the 4 hour, the lower time frame where we're actually executing the trade is like the 15-minute and the 1 hour, and the longer time frame where we're sort of getting the bigger picture is the daily. And as we saw from the daily, there's not really enough confirmation that this is broken bearish. On the 4 hour, it's very speculative, but on the lower time frames, it does look relatively bearish. So yeah, we're going into this trade knowing that it's not a high probability trade, but that we only need to be right more than 25% of the time. And again, moving out to the 4 hour, what we do is we enter this short 183 point. So we'll get filled probably around there, We stop limit out over there. Okay, so yeah, this trade isn't, we need to be right more than 25% of the time. 2.6 to 1, I don't know what the exact percentage is there, but I'm going to go ahead and execute this trade. I might be wrong, but it's a bit of a higher risk trade. I do want to enter a new trade, if a new bearish trade, if this level breaks. I'll probably have a stop limit sell below this level as well. And for now, I'm just going to enter this slightly higher risk trade. Okay, that's that.